Hey, welcome in, folks. This is Babbage Nader. We're in the Long Dark. Currently hanging out in good old Desolation Point. Ready to head out. Here we are. It's gusty, but not a blizzard. Not in love with this. Let's see, how much coal do we have? 29, and we're going to get more coal in a second. So let's deposit some of our coal here. Let's drop off. Hey, Rootbeard. Good to see you. How's your day been? Long weekend started for you? I've officially started my long weekend. My Thursday night D&D game was moved to last night, so I wasn't on last night. Tonight I get to be on. Tomorrow night I may just take a holiday break for myself. Work on some other things. My D&D group's not meeting, but I have a whole pile of stuff to get caught up on. Should probably do that. Let's check on this truck. Every day's the weekend? Yeah. I actually didn't like it when it was like that for me. I was like, I didn't like every day a weekend. I need a little bit more structure. Not that I wanted to be back in an office, but just a little bit of definition between days, right? Okay, so let's see. Our goals. Hopefully to find some saplings. Maybe get a few more guts down. Yeah, I find I have to like crate projects for myself or goals for myself, otherwise it just all blurs together. But then again, sometimes the projects turn into like these all-encompassing things that then I just, all the days blur together when I'm pursuing the project. Like, what was it, a couple weeks ago I spent 4 days working on a JavaScript program to, as it turned out, it did succeed in greatly simplifying the amount of work that we had to do for our group project. Well, it took me about 4 days to debug the whole thing, and then I still found, even the last couple days, there were things I had to go and change. So. But somehow working on projects like that are more exciting. Okay, let's see here. We're going to try to get this guy harvested. and hide and guts in the mine, curing, while we go off and do some work.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, we got lots of coal. We're not going to worry about it. Hacksaw. I had to file taxes. Well, I filed my taxes yesterday, and it was a reminder of how much I really need to be better organized. It's like, this could have been a lot less painful if I had just sorted things at the outset and kept slightly better records, a little bit less chaotic. And then I was also reminded of the fact that as a writer, one of my biggest deductions are, some of my biggest deductions are my book purchases. And last year I did not buy very many books. And that ended up hurting me. I was like, turns out I need to buy more books. Okay, let's see what 6 minutes. Okay, try this. Yeah, some years I get a nice return, and some years are like this year, and I did not get a nice return. I ended up owing a little bit. I was like, it's okay. I had, I would learn to set aside for those eventualities, just because as a contractor, self-employed person who runs their own business, at least for part of the year. Now I'm in school, I do a lot less of that. But there is sort of this added headache of having to track more things. I'm poor and I had to pay out. I had to pay out because a lot of my income I don't collect tax on, and then I owe taxes at the end, so. But yeah, last year I ended up doing.
I can barely walk with this much gear.
I served on a couple different grant juries, where you basically evaluate grant applications for the federal government for the arts. And it was a good experience. The pay was not bad, but I was a little bit surprised to see that they cut you the check and they don't withhold anything. And so you're just going to have to pay out. Okay, so we are here. But usually I get some sort of return, because usually, a combination of being lower income as a writer, that's usually where we're at. We're not all Stephen King. Yeah, there's also a possibility I may have just simply missed some deductions that I normally take. So I might have to relook at it and possibly refile. We'll see. Not really a big fan of having to do more work, but if I can break even a little bit nicer, that'd be fine. But at least it's not. It wasn't a big surprise. It was like within the realm of possibilities. I was like, yeah, it's plausible that I might still owe something. Yeah, other things that usually contribute, like are big deductions for me, is usually one of my biggest expenses is some years I go and I travel to the States and attend AWP, which is the big writing and publishing conference. So that translates into airfare, translates into, so it's a business trip, as a professional. It's a business trip where the airfare, the taxi and other transportation, and my meals out, which are always with other writers, all count as business expenses. Hotel fees, the same thing. So it's a big chunk of money that can work towards deductions. And last year I did not do that. Well, actually, last year I did travel, but I paid for all those things the previous year. And so, because I usually try to be frugal and book ahead, so I ended up not really being able to benefit because I didn't go this year. Anything. So, yeah. And then this year, for next year, my trip to LA this year for the... Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? We don't need these guys. We need these... Ooh, spooky. Oh, we're carrying all that meat still. That's why. Forgot we had meat on us. Okay. Really should get some more water. Okay, now we're not carrying anything too exciting. Moles can leave us alone as we play beaver. Chop, chop, chop. I think we're going to make it to Hibernia, but we're not going to make it to the Riken. We'll have to wait until the morning to get to the Riken. So next week, if I can make it to the end of next week, I'll have cleared my plate of all my assignments and responsibilities for school. Then I can spend time doing a little bit more work, getting paid. Good. And yeah, today I was working with the new job, and it was just basically, you know, they say, for now, just concentrate on studying the things you don't know how to do. So a lot of it's like working through tutorials, reading up on different technologies that I don't know, programming languages I don't know, things like that. And yeah, so that's what I did. I spent today working my way through a Python tutorial and studying a little bit. Well, I did the Python tutorial because I realized that the other tool I was supposed to learn strongly encouraged having at least the basics of Python down. And since I have plenty of other programming languages, it was like, it won't be difficult to learn, but I should work through the tutorial thing just so I have a somewhat of a grounding. And then I was going through the tutorial and I realized the tutorial was last updated like maybe about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and between the time that the tutorial had been put together and now, one of the websites that they use for some of their web scraping exercises has been redesigned, and no longer, the URLs no longer function the same way. So then I had to do some investigation work to figure out how to, you know, how to reformat the URLs so that I could actually do the web scraping things that I was supposed to do. Yeah, so anyways.
Nobody needs this anymore.
Nice find. Good job, Astrid. No, that. Take it for fun. Oh, look at that. More matches. I'll take more matches. Okay. So yeah, so it's about 4.5, 5 hours of me reading files, experimenting with code, then trying to figure out why certain things in their tutorial were no longer working, and then getting them to work, and then figuring out some other stuff. So I think having finished that, next week I will pick something else to work on or learn. Or maybe find an advanced Python thing to work on. But there's a bunch of other stuff I want to do this summer that's not work-related or school-related. I would like to get back to working on different D&D or RPG random generators. Had a lot of time this last few weeks working on other JavaScript code, now Python code, that I kind of want to try my hand at either redoing or building better generators with some new ideas about how to organize what I was doing. Let's see.
I think I can use this.
Okay. Look at that, more matches. we are doing well for matches. So we just picked up 2 more boxes of matches, so we're no longer in the danger zone for matches. Now we have a pretty good buffer. Oh, we gotta remember to put the saplings down.
This will come in handy.
More cloth will be useful. Okay, so we have a few more lurkers. So I'd like to welcome everyone else in. If you're new to the channel, I'm Babbage-Ninger. I stream The Long Dark. Usually I'm not on Thursday nights. Usually I'm busy running an online D&D game, but due to the long weekend, some of my players requested a schedule change, so we ran it last night. And tonight I am free. I'm a Canadian streamer based here in Vancouver, BC at the moment. And currently back in school doing a Master's of Library and Information Science. But I'm a former computer programmer. I'm a writer, translator, editor, and
that didn't work.
Apparently not able to start a fire.
Come on, little fire. Perfect.
Success. Okay. Okay, let's put down some water. Really? Right at the end. $58, 6, and what? Ah! 20. We're losing our torch.
Well, this stuff will come in handy.
Okay. Made that work. Okay, before I forget, down our flare. More batteries. Hey Laszlo, good to see you. This is kind of a bonus stream tonight since I'm usually not available on Thursdays. But as it turns out, my usual Thursday night online D&D group couldn't do tonight, so we moved to last night, and that left me with time to stream tonight. I think this is the one where you have to tear down the one to get to the other one. Yeah. Yep. So it's long weekend time for me. Although there are some things I still have to get caught up on, so. I was explaining to one of my professors what I had done with my final project for the information document design class, which basically, it's partly a design class and partly an introduction to PowerPoint, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So really, I'm overqualified for a big chunk of it, but I'm missing, going into it, I was missing a formal design background. I'd never really studied design in relation to document design, digital document design, those type of considerations, designing for the web, stuff like that. So that was the part I wanted. I really felt that for the most part, I was going to be fine with the other stuff, which I have been. So, so the professor had said, well, why don't you stretch yourself? You know, you can always run with the assignment and go a little further, and choose something that you don't know how to do, and try to do something a little bit different than you usually do. So I did, and it just got bigger and bigger. So I mean, it's really, yeah, I don't know how to explain it other than turned out to be a bigger project than I anticipated. Mainly because of some of the restrictions on how it's supposed to work when we turn it in. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's, maybe I'll do a little show and tell for what it looks like right now. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Do, 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 do. Okay, let's see if I can do this right. So hold on a second here. We'll show you what it is and why it's kind of gotten a little bit crazy. Let's see, add another source. Actually, I'll do it this way. We'll do add another window. We'll do it as a window. Okay, you can kind of see it here. We'll do a little trim. Oops. Okay, so yeah, so I'm doing this translation site, or really it's just one page of it. But yeah, it just goes from this, and then it also has like the same information about the characters shows up on as a whatchamacallit, as a tooltip, or you can see like the whole grid of the poem. You can see the different translations, which also update with the different translator bios. You would think that this is all done with different pages. It is not. It's actually done in JavaScript with these, because originally I was supposed to be doing it. You know, my professor had recommended that I look into like how to read in an XML file and then display it, you know, because I hadn't really worked with that type of interaction before. So I did that. I wrote that to work, and I set everything up in XML. And then I ran into this problem, which is JavaScript can't read local XML files if the JavaScript file and the XML file are not sitting on a server. But the assignment requires me to turn it in so it can be operated locally. So that means that would never work. So I then had to like rethink of how to display, how to basically make everything work, even though the I don't have access to an XML file and I'm doing this in JavaScript. So I then ended up doing, let's see if I can pull out the other craziness. Let's see. Let's do the other window. Do I have one? I don't. Okay. Okay. And so yeah, this is the other craziness is so I ended up converting all the poems into, so the Chinese poem becomes an array of basically objects. So each line's an object that contains, or a class that contains these three separate things. They're not truly objects. They're kind of, but not really. But anyways, you know, they're clustered together this way. So they have these key pairs going on. And then the translations, so these are citations, they're a separate set of arrays. And the translations have the entire text. Title, translator, bio, pub date, poem text, and then that. And then they're loaded into an array. And then I have a set of functions that will read in a passed in poem and spit it out as an HTML blob to just plug into the page. So it generates as it goes. The poem translation, or the original poem in Chinese, exists. It's all loaded up as an object that can then, depending on whether it is displayed as annotated or not, the HTML is generated in different ways. If it's not annotated, then it produces it with the tooltip format, and if it is annotated, it uses the layout for the grid. But so this is way, way, way beyond what I needed to do for the class. So this is definitely feature creep. Oh yeah, the Google Vision and photographs of handwriting. Yes, I'm still working on that project. But I started, I think you missed the earlier part of the conversation of tonight, where I was saying, like, I was studying that, and then I came across a point where they said, really, you shouldn't proceed further until you do, if you're not currently using Python and don't, are unfamiliar with Python coding, you should do a Python tutorial first. So I went and I did the Python tutorial, and I discovered that the Python tutorial they sent me to was outdated in the sense that the web scraping URL that they point to, the URL they point to for the web scraping examples has had a redesign and now doesn't function the same way that it did during the time period when they designed the tutorial. So then I had to figure out how to, what the new URL format was, and then how to modify the URL, and in some cases modify the code so it would actually do the thing it was supposed to do. Apparently it didn't like the word creep. Okay, bizarre. Yeah, now I just need the tables of poems to be read, email. Yeah. Yeah, so anyways, there's, yeah. So that and the data set generator I wrote for the database design class are both like overkill for what we need. But there's definitely peace of mind knowing that we could quickly and accurately generate data sets and be on the same page. Like we could know, like our team knows that when we're looking at a data set, it's internally consistent with no errors. We can just copy it into the SQL. It's SQL Lite, but we could copy it in, run the SQL. It works perfectly fine. It will create the databases, the tables. It will populate it, and I even had it generate some of the like frequent things we need to do, like if we're testing what happens, whether certain triggers trigger or how they trigger, based on updates to billing or updates to different things that are all like part of the chain reaction of things that happen when someone puts in a new customer order for, a new customer order, or an old customer puts an order in, how it ripples through the entire system. And so I like generated those calls as well. So yeah, it's pretty powerful. It's pretty powerful. It has a few things that are frustrating that you can't do, and but for the most part, it does what it needs to do quite well. Okay, let's see. $16.40. Okay, we've got about 40 minutes here. Let's so yeah, those projects are pretty much done. I think I have to. Yeah, I think I just have to write up some notes for our presentation, for Tuesday's presentation. I have a presentation to give on Wednesday for special topics directed studies class, where I'm presenting on different collection management systems. And so, yeah, I need to finalize what the list of articles or chapters I want my classmates to read, and I have to make the presentation for it, which should keep them occupied for an hour in terms of like things to discuss and possibly activities. So I don't know. We'll see. I feel like a lot of the other topics have lent themselves better to like, here's a collaborative exercise we can work on together, or let's have a discussion around sort of the ethics or morality of this particular point. With content or collection management systems, it's really like, okay, here's what we want to do. Here are these out-of-the-box solutions. What's the lesser evil here? Because nothing's going to do exactly what you want it to do. Some things are better designed than others. Okay. Yeah, the forge is coming next. We got here a little bit too dark to get our forge on. Oh, we're pretty tired. Astrid. Maybe we'll just sleep down here. Finish looting in the morning. Okay, what do we got here? Eat the beans. No, we haven't forged yet, so that's coming up fast. Oh, we forgot to cook those. Didn't cook those. Okay, what's food we could eat that we could get out of the way? Okay, good enough. Yeah, it's always that. My sister, once upon a time, worked for an international pharmaceuticals company in BC, and she said, so she was effectively the webmaster, webmistress for but saw a lot of their intranet and internet needs, their web tools and things like that, and interactions with databases. Anyways, her boss ended up listening to the pitch coming from some salespeople for a particular like software package that was supposed to solve all their needs. And of course, my sister looks at it and says, like, this isn't even a good fit for what we do. And she tried to convince her boss not to go in on it. And the boss was like, but it's the newest thing and everyone else is doing it. And they said it should be cheaper than having you do it. And sure enough, like a few months later, it's like, it doesn't do what we need it to do. We're going to have to hire them to come back and fix it. And my sister's just shaking her head saying, if you just told me what you needed, we would have built it for you. And that's the problem, right? It's always like, in a lot of cases, you have some industries, it's very bespoke. You need something very particular to do the job. It's not, it doesn't work to just try to find an out-of-box solution. Some businesses can get away with that, but yeah, a lot of them can't. Yeah, and that's the other side. That's I've witnessed that in the games industry. It's like, oh, we have this proprietary engine. And the engineer, the you know, the engine designers, you know, basically the father of the engine, one day decided that he was going to leave the country and move to like Ecuador. Um, he just left. He just left. And suddenly the company's like, okay, we have a team of people that are somewhat familiar with what this is doing. But we didn't plan on this. We didn't plan on losing Tyler. It was like, that's not how we were supposed to go. So, yeah, that was kind of a bit of a shakeup. I think I'd explained why some of the products we worked on during that little window of time ended up not depending on the engine, and they tried getting us to use other tools. So, like, I did one. My last game was done in something that pretty much no one uses anymore. Macromedia's director. What was it? Director lingo was the language I had to learn, scripting language for doing Flash animation stuff. But was so different from. It was fairly different from what I was used to doing, because this one was like on a. It's scripting on a timeline versus like writing normal procedural code, you know. A lot of things are overly complicated. I think that is definitely a truth. Okay. Let's see. How heavy are we? We're at 52. We definitely do not need to carry 52 whatevers with us. Oh, let's get rid of. Let's get our extra cloth here. I think I mentioned before, one of the hardest classes I took in computer science was a computer science theory class called Foundations of Computer Science, or Theoretical Foundations of Computer Science. And as difficult as that class was, one of the key things that you got out of it, if you wrestled with it and eventually figured out what they were talking about, is you came to understand that most problems in computer science really fall into a few categories. And some of those categories of problems are just simply unsolvable. So if you see something and you recognize it as an unsolvable problem, or as a problem that takes a ridiculous amount of, you know, resources to solve, then you can clearly label it as such and tell your boss that we have to go back to the drawing board and do something different because it's a waste of time. Something I appreciated. It did empower us to do that. We had at least one occasion where we were able to do that and say, like, this is just actually impossible. So it doesn't matter how much money our programmers should throw at us. We simply cannot do that. It's theoretically impossible. Do I read the register? No, I haven't. God, we are so heavy. I know part of the problem is we've got all this coal. Part of the problem is I do not want to leave these saplings here where I'm going to forget them. So what is the deal? We got... Okay, so let's just accept we no longer need to carry that with us. What is so heavy? Don't need 2 cans. Oh, we got this extra... And we got so many torches? Okay, really, we don't need all these torches. That's part of our problem. Okay. 15, plenty. Alright. It's almost manageable. Once we dump the coal, we'll be in better shape. Tech News website. Okay.
God, I could eat a horse.
What else do we have here? Anything else? Oh no! No one stopped me. We did it again. Do you know what I did? Do you know what I did that just was horrible that now we have to start over again? Does anyone remember my critical error? Not again. Not again. Once again, we have this great run going and then we messed it up. Oh. So stupid. I swear, this is the hardest part about the challenge. I cannot seem to wrap my mind around it. The hardest part of the challenge is not the survival. It's remembering that I can't sleep indoors. I'll go like 2 streams in and then I'll mess up. Oh, I'm so close to giving up on the challenge just because I can't seem to do it without falling to just sleeping indoors at some point. Nah, it was a full night's rest. We're out of luck on that one. Yeah, unfortunately. Why? Okay, so we need to make a critical decision here. Do we give up on Cave Dweller simply because I cannot seem to do this? Do we go full Outerloper? Maybe you're right, Laszlo. Maybe we should just do full Outerloper on this next attempt and just like give up on looting on the interior. I mean, we're going to die a lot if it's full Outerloper. That's the thing I know, is that we were not able to make it past 24 hours without the ability to sleep indoors within that first 24 hours. So I think like our odds are really terrible for Outerloper. Okay. Should we do some sort of survey? Let's see what we got here. Can we do like a... No Outerloper. Okay, good. Because I don't really enjoy like that much suffering. Who was it? Someone suggested that instead of like a completely never sleep indoors rule, that there's a budget, like that we look at our hours inside and out. But if we did that, then our outdoor resting would have to be truly outdoor resting. We'd have to sleep we couldn't sleep in transition caves. We couldn't sleep in mines. You know, if we wanted to keep our outdoor resting hours high, we'd have to sleep in snow shelters. We'd have to sleep in these other places. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's some sort of a lottery that we get a chance. Maybe people save their points and buy me an outdoor or an indoor rest. 1 night every 7 days. Once every 7 days. That's not too bad. Once every 7 days. Then you just have to make it through your first 7 days. Oh, I like that. We can bring back roll with it mechanics. In the sense that we basically bring back a roll. I like this. I like this. I think we're onto something here. I think what it should be is that we get to rest the first 24 hours indoors. After that, we roll a die. So I think it starts off. We roll a d4, and so we have up to 4 days before our next indoor rest. And then after that rest, we roll again, and it's 1 to 6 days. And then after that, it's 1 to 8 days. After that, it's 1 to 10 days. And after that, it's 1 to 20 days. So that, I think, gives a nice little ramp-up period of time. It gives a little bit of buffer early on. And so the chances of being able to rest earlier is better. But you could be punished more the longer the run goes. I think that works. Will that save me from making that mistake? I don't know. Honestly, I also debate whether we just need a different challenge, because I think as much as I like pushing myself on Cave Dweller, it is really frustrating sometimes to have to throw away the run every time we forget and we sleep indoors. Yeah, I don't know. This is going into the bank of other good starts that don't go anywhere. Okay, so do we start over? This is technically a Cave Dweller run that just aborted itself. We had such a good start on this. I was so excited. We were going to be forged before day 8. And I just had to sleep indoors. We weren't even supposed to come here. We were supposed to go straight to the Riken, and it was too late. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking. That's the problem. I was talking and not thinking. I'm just wasting torches at this point. Okay. I think to punish myself for good, what if you get 2d4 graces in the first 2 weeks? And then 1 to 4 after that. So it's always kept at a lower amount. The chances of getting another... Oh, 1 to 4 graces after that. Period. Okay. We're going to let this be our save. We will start a new challenge with clean rules. So frustrating. Start with frostbite. Alright, so we'll try this again. Is it still Cave Dweller, or do we have to do something else? Do we have to call it something else now? Okay. Weekend cave life? No. Let's see. It's no longer really like it is Cave Dweller, it's not Cave Dweller. I feel like we do need something. Really, like, there's a part of me that likes this challenge, and there's a part of me that absolutely hates having to throw away really good runs every time I take a nap indoors. So I think, oh, you think we should do... That might be a good point. We could make it a more interesting challenge. Like, at this point, this is not a run that's going to beat our 303-day run, right? So we don't have to worry about beating our Interloper best. It's not likely to be one of those. They're going to set it at Interloper difficulty for the most part. Starting gear allocation medium gives us the bedroll. Should we leave everything else the same? Okay, we're going to start off with this one. Let's see. This is very much just custom Interloper with bedroll, right? But if anyone asks, this is going to be the code. Okay. Okay, we're going to go ahead with this. Oh, you think we should increase the wolves, weather, and aurora? Medium loot? Well, I feel like it's going to be too generous. Unless we're really going Outerloper style, but I think... Nah, I think for this time around, we'll just experiment with just adding the bedroll, and then we'll decide if we actually, want to make it anything more challenging than that. So this time around, we will just do, if it needs to change or not, we will just go with these two as usual. This is Cave Dweller, with roll 1. Still no prepper caches. We still get everything else about Cave Dweller. Get a bedroll, so we're less likely to be tempted. Now, it doesn't change anything. We'll still be tempted to sleep inside. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. Coastal Highway. Look at us. Up here. Early morning. Could be good. If we get matches right away, that'd be awesome. Can't really guarantee it though. Alright, so for this first adjustment, we're adding the bedroll early. Let's see, what else do we have? We're still pretty low on gear, but we do have a bedroll. We do get matches. Oh, look at that. So, yeah, this is already, like, more likely to survive. It's also less challenging. I feel like if there was a way to turn off one but not the other, like to go, well, I don't know. We'll see. I might give up on this one. It's just like, I feel like this is going to be really, really, maybe a little bit too easy, but...
My fingers feel numb.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if this is too easy. Can't believe I went to sleep. Again, that's twice that's happened. Both times I've had really good runs. I've really, really phenomenal runs. I have lost them in the dam. Because it was just too easy to take a nap there. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? I'm just super annoyed about that. My own fault. No one else to blame, but it's just so frustrating. Okay. We only have a handful of choices here for where we go. And we're up here, so the closest place to go is... Yeah.
Sure getting cold.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is like, I feel like this is off balance because we got too much stuff and not enough to make it worthwhile. Let's see here. Let's just delete that one. Okay, here's my thinking. We get to roll a d6 at the start of the run. That tells us how many grace periods we get. No, no worries. No worries. I get like that sometimes, and I forget like that's part of the challenge. Is no, that's happened before. Sometimes I just do it because I'm sleepy. It's like I need to sleep. Astrid needs to sleep. Let's sleep today. Yeah, then boom, we're like all asleep and failing. No. So I think what we're gonna do here is cave dweller. Gambler. Too long. Troglodyte. Troglodyte. Gambler. That's even longer. Okay, so cave. Well, it isn't longer. Cave dweller. Call it cave dweller V6. Yeah, I think that will help. Like, build a base before we can... Maybe that's what it should be, is like you have to build a base somewhere. So I think we get a total of 1 to 6, initially 1 to 6 grace periods. And then, if someone wants to throw me a line, we can make that a redeem to give me like an extra grace period. Something like that. If I cared more about monetizing it, I would say like, if you pay me X number of bits, we get a grace period. But I'm not going to do that. Okay. Why do I feel like we're HRV? We are in HRV. It's a long way down. Okay. We need to get to matches, and matches are at the bottom. Okay. Quickly go down, scoot down, follow the river. Uh-oh. Don't like this. Still works. Is this a dead end? This one's a dead end. Okay. Oh, let's roll. Let's roll at the... Yeah, let's do that here. Okay, let's do this here. Add custom award. Okay. How much should it cost? What should we make it? Need to make it pricey. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can find something appropriate. Check out the pre-made gallery. Let's see if we got like. I don't know if this makes any sense, but it's a temporary thing to throw in there. Really use a clock icon for now. We'll find a better icon eventually, but let's see. Okay, so there's something now. It's priced at $7,500. It's enough to keep people from wasting it. Okay, 7,500. So we can't have it happen all the time. It will happen some of the time. And then we're also going to go ahead and we'll roll to see how many days we get. We'll roll a d6. 3 days. Okay. So, and yeah, let me take a look at that. To whisper. Oh, okay, I see. Thanks. I'll check that out later. Okay, so we've got 6 days, or not 6 days, 3 days. Okay. So indoor stays 0 out of 3. Okay. Nope, can't get down there either. I forget how to get out of here? Possible. We're going to have to do something ridiculous. Maybe our stay here will be shorter than planned because we messed up. How do we get out of here? I thought there was a path down here, but I don't see it. I think we have to go out this way. Oh, it's over here. Keep trying to jump. Can't jump.
Jeez, this is cold.
Yeah, this is bad. It's like we are so far away from where we need to be. Is this the path down? I know other paths to take if I have a torch. If I don't have a torch, I'm not as confident. Because then I can't navigate through the cave system, I can't navigate through all these other things. Can we get out of here? It's probably still the wrong way. No, I don't. This is pure interloper again.
I've never felt so cold in my life.
Okay, we were probably going to die a miserable death here. So I have just put myself in a bad spot. Oops. Oh, bad spot just got worse. Strategic error. Strategic error. Danger, danger. Strategic error. Yeah, we went back to the tried and true interloper start. Because I do like the danger of the opening, not knowing I will make it. Trying some very questionable goading technique here. Oh, well, things are going to go badly. I'm sorry, Astrid. This is probably it for you. This is probably it. Gotta figure out where that cave with the matches is. Can't be too far away. All we need to find are matches and a bedroll. That's all. That's all. Do I know it well? Not super well. I know it well enough to get here. and get my matches. That is better than I used to know it. I used to not be able to... I used to assume there were other places to get matches, but there aren't. You're a rat. Cool. Cool. $60. Yeah, there's not much we could do about this. There's nothing that lights quickly here. We know that if we focus on the ice caves, we hopefully will be able to find ourselves some matches. I mean, not some matches, some a bedroll. HRV is actually pretty good for this particular challenge, since there is no way we can mess it up. Right? There's no man-made structures here to sleep in, so we are... Oh, I take that back. There's the bunker. That's the only danger. So if we don't go to the bunker, we're fine. Sprained ankle. I feel like we're going to lose our torch as soon as we step outside.
That smarts a bit.
So is it this way? I think it's this way. Is it this way that takes us to the... I think it's back this way. I might be wrong. But...
That's a bit, but I'll make it.
Question is, are we headed towards right cave? I think we are.
I'll need some first aid soon.
Yeah, we just need to find bedroll. Yeah, I think this is the right cave for the bedroll. I am hoping that is the case.
Ow!
But it is such a maze to navigate through this place.
That smarts a bit.
Backtrack. Backtrack. Hey Kirk, welcome in. We are in the middle of another challenge. We keep messing up. We're doing a challenge called Cave Dweller. Here, let's give you a shout out.
Hello? Ooh, how did I? No way. I killed him with an ankle shot? That was amazing.
Hey, yeah, hope your stream went well. We're trying to do this challenge where we have to stay indoors, or not stay indoors. We have to sleep in caves, mines, snow shelters, or outdoors. And we keep messing up. We keep getting these really good starts, and then I will get sleepy, or I will stop paying attention, and I'll take a nap inside the dam or on inside a building, and then realize I've just blown the entire run. I have to start over again. So we had to start over again, even though we were on the verge of like a day 6 or day 7 forge, and we messed up. So it's like, so now we're trying to remember. There we are. We're looking for this place.
Ow!
We're hoping that we can find the bedroll in this cave. If I remember correctly, it's this cave. Could be wrong, though. Yeah, I keep forgetting the rule. The rule is don't sleep indoors. And I keep sleeping indoors and throwing away the run, and it's really frustrating. So we changed the rules slightly at the start of this run. This time the rule is that we roll a d6 at the beginning of the run, and we get that many graces. That's how many times we could mess up. So we rolled a 3, so we get three chances to mess up where we sleep indoors, and then after that we're out. But there's another way to be saved, and that's if chat is willing to spend a lot of points and throw me a lifeline and pay for Astrid to sleep indoors. Look at us! Bedroll! Came to the right cave.
I'll take it.
Hacksaw 2. Look at that! What is this? Okay, here we go. This is perhaps the best start ever. No searching. Oh, interesting. Yeah, someone else. What's the name of that? Yeah, day 0.
That didn't work.
Hacksaw, matches, and bedroll. This is officially the best start I've ever had.
Come on, little fire.
Ooh, look at us. Okay. So we need, oh, that's actually our second second set of matches, because we got matches earlier, from the cave at the side. So we're actually 2 boxes of matches in already. That's pretty awesome. We don't have a pot, so we just have 1 can, but, beggars can't be choosers. We'll be happy with what we got. Okay, so we are now at 10, 11. Okay, I'm gonna say it. I think if we mess up this run, you know, despite our 3 grace periods, if we mess up this run, I really think I'll go back to a generic interloper for a little bit and get it out of my system. We'll see. Alright, let's see what else we got here. Is there any carcasses? Corpses? Nothing.
Hurts a bit.
Yeah.
Like it.
Okay, we're gonna need a lot more water. Okay. Yeah. Between bridge and HRV transit? Yeah. There's definitely a cave there we can stay in. Yep. Clothing is not bad. Water is low. Okay, take care, Kurt. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for bringing your raiders in. Okay, we'll try to get a little bit more water going here. Do we want to stay down here? I think we'll want to stay down here. No, maybe we'll go upstairs.
That smarts a bit.
Will let us climb? Can't climb with sprained ankle. Okay, well. Guess that answers that question. We're sleeping down here. Come on, Astrid. You can do this. Make it through the night.
Man, I could eat anything.
Okay, what do we got? Oh, and we even got a little bit of guts. Look at us. Okay. Let's go ahead and hook up that rabbit. It'd be really nice if we could get better at starting fires.
Come on, little fire. Come on. Come on, little fire.
Oh, we have all these matches, and we're just wasting them one after another. That's 3. I'm done. I'm not gonna do that. RNG hates us. I mean, we still have plenty, right? We have 22 right now. Can't live here forever on 22. We're not AV. We're not acidic virus who can do that forever, but where we came in. That's That's the way out. Oh. That's what we were looking for. A little accelerant. Wish we had stopped by here earlier and we would have spotted that. Yeah, unlike real life where we learn from our failures. In the long dark, you just die. It's just like... And this is how we learn from our failures. We die. Okay. This is really the wrong tool for carving up a rabbit. I do not recommend a hacksaw. Somehow it seems not very wise. Ooh, the hacksaw is bigger than the rabbit. I just don't see this as being an effective solution. Okay, these are 9, 18. So the biggest downside about HRV is the lack of a forge. Really? Well, it works really well on frozen. If you have frozen solid bear, deer, or wolves, the hacksaw is your friend. Once they start thawing out, it gets slower. Like slightly faster. This makes no sense to use a hacksaw to get the guts out. But we're saving like 10 minutes.
Where can I find something to eat?
Okay, we'll leave these here for a second while we go outside and check on the area. Too gusty. Just right over here while we go grab more rose hips. Yeah, not really worth doing anything out there. Well, actually, I guess we got sticks. Got acorns here too.
starting to feel numb. Damn, I'm freezing.
Okay. Debating what we want to do here. If I remember correctly, we can't really get out of there without the... Can we get out? I think we might be able to get out with... I think we can get out without the hatchet. I think we can do it. Yeah. Okay. I think it's almost bedtime for me, so I'm going to pack it in here. We'll do a leave and re-enter for save. The weather does not look cooperative for doing anything cool, so we're not going to go out there yet. Okay, so that's a save. So we are officially on day 0 again. But we built in a mechanism now so that hopefully it's a little bit more forgiving and we don't have to keep throwing away runs because we make a mistake once. Now we have like 3 strikes here, for this one at least. So, yeah. Makes me sad, but I guess this is how we learn. Okay, so let us figure out who we can go raid. Yeah, hopefully we can be a team. and you guys can participate. You could cheer, you could get Astrid an extra night in if you want to spend the points. We might even turn that into like a goal. Set that as a points goal that you can make together. Try to raise enough to get Astrid a home for the night. I feel like Astrid's become homeless. It's like Astrid. We got to scrape money together to get you into a hotel room for the night, and then after that you might be back on in the caves. But that's what we do. Yeah, Astrid's living hard. Okay, so let's figure out where we're going to go. Oh, other than the fact that we have to reset this number here. 0. Okay, good night to you, Laszlo. Thanks for everyone for joining us during the stream. Before we head out, we will do one last thing. We will do what is customary for the stream. We're going to finish off with a poem. As the regulars know, I am a writer. I'm the author of 2 books of poetry, and I enjoy reading poems. Poems. That sounds so terrible. Anyways, we're going to read something from probably from one of my books of poetry. We'll see what it is. Babbage Descending into Mount Vesuvius. Oh, okay. This one has a good story. Okay, so this is from my second book of poetry, Babbage's Dream, published by Sundress Publications in 2017. This book revolves around the history of computers. Charles Babbage, 19th century mathematician, who designed, partially built, but never finished what would have been the first general-purpose programmable computer. He was 130 years ahead of his time, and he lived a very fascinating life, full of both intellectual triumphs and frustrations, as well as personal tragedies, and rather bizarre accomplishments. The book also has a number of poems that are inspired by programming languages, programming terms, as well as poems inspired by famous artificial intelligences from film, TV, and literature. We are going to read a poem. Titled Babbage Descending into Mount Vesuvius 1828. And this has an incredibly wild story that goes with it. So I'll tell you the story after we read the poem. And must be late because I'm pulling out the reading glasses. Okay. Babbage Descending into Mount Vesuvius 1828. All day your company has carried you on the backs of horses and men, humoring your strange obsession with flame and ash. Now, long before dawn, you stand heavy at the crater's edge, rope in hand, walking stick and measuring gear at your side. Below you, a plain of fire and darkness spidering out, like the blood vessels of an eye revealed by artificial light. No one is eager to follow you down. The raw earth exhales sigh after poisonous sigh. Your feet are lost in the gray remains of unmade stone as you ride deeper into the cindery maw, as you descend onto the troubled skin of what might be hell. Here, the world is always being destroyed beneath your feet. Your walking stick turns into a pillar of flame, a poor guide home. Everywhere the hot breath of death and decline, everywhere between the time bursts of molten light and heat, the song that tears through all the layers of earth, through so many moving parts, how it beats like sorrow in a locked room, like the name of a love buried beneath a mountain of iron and clay. It's a dark place here within your heart, at the end of a world emptying itself of meaning, translating loss into fire and ash. What is grief to a man surveying a landscape that will never be here again? What is the void that burns the sky with a yellowish light? Here, in such radiant absence, you turn your eyes away. Imagine again her hand, her face, her skin. So 1828 is the year after Charles Babbage lost his wife. His wife died rather young there was a fever epidemic that swept through in 1827 through much of the UK. And in that year, Babbage ends up losing his father, his wife, and 2 of his children to this fever epidemic. It's devastating. It's horrific. And Babbage is so shaken by the whole experience. In part, like a large part of it is because Babbage never expected to get married in the first place. He was very much focused on his studies and was very much a man of sort of engineering, mathematical mind, who was also a great storyteller. But he had gone, when he was in college, he had gone to a party dragged there by friends, it seems, from his account. And he quite accidentally meets this girl that he falls head over heels for, much to his surprise. And she, likewise, falls in love with him. So much so that when Babbage announces his engagement to her, to Georgiana, who becomes his wife, his father threatened to disown him. His father was a banker and very, very wealthy, and threatened to cut Babbage completely off from the family wealth, because he didn't believe that Charles Babbage should marry this girl. And Babbage says, "Doesn't matter. I'm marrying her anyway." So he was a romantic, and so it's devastating for him in 1827 when he loses her, loses 2 of his children, and also, loses his father in this way that never quite reconciles, all the things that were left unsaid, unresolved. So in 1828, he did what many Europeans did in the 19th century when they were on the verge of a mental breakdown or going through some sort of crisis. He traveled. He went to Europe, and he went to Italy. And while he was in Italy, he was looking out his window. His account in his memoir says this. He was looking out the window, and he saw Mount Vesuvius, which is a very, very famous volcano in Italy. And known like historically for having these massive eruptions. And at the time, Vesuvius was essentially dormant. There was no major activity. And Babbage decided that he wanted to, in his account, he says he wanted to go, he was fascinated with the mechanical workings of the earth. And he wanted to understand the inner workings of a volcano. And so what does he do? He pays for people to carry him to the lip of the volcano and lower him down inside of the dormant part of the volcano so he could conduct a survey. And much to his surprise, no one else wants to join him inside the volcano, but he's down there in the volcano, and he takes his walking stick with him. He takes some survey equipment, and he plants the walking stick in one part of the volcano, turns around, walks a certain number of paces away, turns back around, puts down the surveying equipment, the sextant to take to do the measurement. And much to his surprise, the walking stick burst into flame. And because there's so much pent up heat underneath. So Babbage then decides that he wants something more than just to do a survey of the inside of the volcano. No, it's not enough. He goes and he finds the portion of the volcano that's still active. There's like a little part of the volcano that you can peer down into the heart of the volcano. And there's this rocky protuberance, this jutting out hard rock that he says he could lie down on it and peer into the heart of the volcano. So he times these micro eruptions so he knows when he can stick his head over the edge and not get burned alive. And he peers into the heart of the volcano and he pulls himself back out and he continues the survey and then leaves. Now, when I read the account the first time, I did not know about 1827. I just knew about 1828, and he's on this tour of Europe and he's doing these science tourism basically is what he was doing. And then I reread the account knowing that Babbage had actually just, was going through this devastating loss and undoubtedly a certain amount of depression. His mother says in one of the letters that he was never the same after Georgiana's death. It absolutely devastated him. And even though he kind of returned to much of his same personality, there was a part of him that was just never the same. So anyways, it made me think that perhaps there is a little bit of self-destruction impulse in Babbage's choice to look into the heart of the volcano. And then to his credit, he decides that he is going to stand up and walk away. So I think that's one of the things that's really amazing about that story, is that he peers into the heart of the volcano, which is metaphorically his own destruction, his own depression, his own grief. He stares into the heart of it, and then he doesn't let it consume him. And so I find that really remarkable. One of the reasons why I love Babbage is these little throwaway stories that turn out not to be throwaway at all. So that's behind Babbage descending into Mount Vesuvius. The other interesting detail, that description of the surface of the volcano, what is it? Like the blood vessels of an eye revealed by artificial light. That's actually, Babbage is also responsible. He had his hand in all sorts of things. He's also responsible for the ophthalmoscope. I can't even pronounce it, but it's the device that you use to look at your own eye. So you can look at the back of your own eye. And he was the one who invented it. He had a particular vision impairment where at extreme distances the horizon doubled and would be stacked on top of each other, and he could only correct it by holding up his hand and putting his hand to his eye and then peering through a small hole, and it would collapse a little bit and return to normal. But so sometimes it would just kind of drift apart into the stacked horizon. And so he's curious about why that was the case. And he thought that he might be able to figure it out by studying his own eye. So he invents a device to do it. And that's basically what we use today. So it's kind of interesting. He has his hand in a lot of different things. Yeah. And I did think it was interesting. Why is he doing a survey of the inside of a volcano? Because like wait a week, it'll be completely different. You know, it's not active, but it's active enough that nothing's going to be stable. So. Anyways, yeah. So that's kind of behind the poem. If you want to learn more about Babbage's dream, you can find out more on my website, which has links back to the publisher, as well as some excerpts from the book. You can read other things in there as well. Yeah. Anyways, let's get on with finding a new home for our stream. Figure out who we can go raid. Okay, so let's see. Tormuse is up. Let's visit Tormuse. Oh, Tormuse is finally trying out the new DLC. So I think that means that Tormuse primarily plays console, if that's the case. Okay, we're going to take our friends, all of you guys, over to Tormuse and hang out there. I'm going to get some sleep soon, and wish you all the best. I'm on the fence about whether or not I'll be on tomorrow night. I don't have D&D tomorrow night, but I do have stuff I should work on this weekend, so we'll see. Take care. We'll see you soon.